through and through. Oh, the Toon Review. Laughs and passion, football too. We are the Toon Review. By the fans, for the fans, through and through. Laughs and passion, football too. We are the Toon Review. 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 Go!
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Toon Review. Newcastle 2, Tottenham HOTSPUR 2 at St James's Park last night as Tottenham come back twice in the game and get a point taken away from St James's Park. Once again, Newcastle United drop points from a winning position. That's now 11 points this season we have dropped from winning positions. Imagine if we'd kept those 11 points, folks, where we'd be in the Premier League. But unfortunately, it's not to be. What is the problem? I did a video earlier on today saying what Eddie just turned around and said he doesn't know. And that they are working on various different things in training. Is it mentality? I just don't know anymore, folks. But listen, we'll dive into it. We've got Harry again coming on to talk from a Spurs point of view what he thought of the game. He'll be with us just now. I can see him waiting, so we know he's there. But it is good evening to Bert Nerney.
Good evening to the two of you, massive, the Magpie Massive, and all you fantastic, outstanding, superb, splendid, magnificent people out there in viewerland.
Just gets better and better. I like the way how I said Bert Nerney and used to just replied literally straight away. Like, not even any delay. Bert Nerney, hello. Right.
I'm a big bird.
Big Bird, I'll be. Well, no. I am just taking this show through the steps as we do. Shamrock says he's not really fussed on what Spurs fans think. Well, it is good to get a Spurs view of it because Harry actually thought they would get trashed last night. It didn't quite work out that way. So, listen, we'll get into it all, I'm sure. Bruno was absolutely furious last night, said the defensive mentality was not there. And he actually quoted that it was like losing a family member last night in the dressing room. So that's how bad he felt about it. But guys, if you do enjoy tonight's show, as usual, hit that thumbs up. We really do need those likes to keep coming in, to keep pushing the channel up in the algorithms. And of course, if you are new and you like what you see, subscribe, guys. Hit that subscribe button. Help us keep growing. All we ask for is that you hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload or a live show. Right, we'll bring Harry in immediately because we may as well get the painful side of it out the way. Good evening, Harry.
Hi, you're right. Thank you so much for having me again.
Oh, you're very welcome, mate. I bet it was a bit of a surprise for you, was it, last night?
Huge surprise. I'm very happy, and the fan base is just like in turmoil. You know, they're annoyed with each other, and it's just crazy. For me, I'm happy with that. You know, people will overanalyze the Spurs performance, but for me, you know, to get a result at St James's Park is significant. Not many teams do that. I know that you drop points. You're right to mention that. Definitely, you'll know more about that than I do, but I still think you're a very strong side at home. So, as a Tottenham fan, I'm really happy with the result. I said before the game, I thought we would, just your words as well, you know, get trashed. So, and I said I would take a point. That hasn't changed now. I'm very happy. And for me, the circumstances aren't really important. You know, football is a results-based business. The only reason performance matters, because like eventually it'll catch up with you, like Liverpool, the first half of the season, you know, first few games, the performances mattered only because we knew that in the end they probably would drop points rather than it doesn't matter like in this game for me because Tottenham have gone there and got a point, which is a good result, and we've got positives to take out of it. So I'm one of those who's quite happy as a Spurs fan.
Yeah. Derek, I thought this was a Newcastle channel. It is, but we get guests on from other teams that we played against or were playing against. Get a grip. Dear me. I mean, look, we've had our criticisms, Billy. We commentated on the game and, you know, we played well in patches, I guess. And it's just really frustrating because I don't think Spurs played that well, Harry, if I'm openly honest. I don't think that, you know, you're going out as a side with a lot of confidence at the minute. And there was certain aspects of the Spurs game that I thought, well, certain players don't look really bothered half the time. How did you see the performance from both
Again,
sides, actually? What did you think of Newcastle as well?
If I'm honest with you, I don't think you were at your best. I thought you were the better of the two teams, but I just looked at you and thought, this is not the Newcastle team I'm used to seeing under Eddie Howe, lacking a little bit of clinical edge up. We saw that one moment, two players come together. That, for me, summed up the night in a way for Newcastle, nearly team. So that was unfortunate for your point of view. For us, I do think we're second best, but I think that was the expectation going there. I'm happy because I think for the first time we saw some frank principles where we shut up shop and actually looked okay defensively. We looked dangerous for me sometimes at set pieces, and we were really clinical on the counter attack. But I recognise, this game happens again, and you go, what if Newcastle score that chance, or what if Ramsdale saves that, or reacted quicker, seen that more? You've got to ask yourself these questions. But I think you need a game like this where you aren't expected to get a result, and you do. That it just gives the team confidence. For me, as a fan, it's given me something. Which, I was behind it anyway, but it should give fans something to get behind, a little bit of confidence, and it should be something inside the dressing room for Frank and the boys. Go, look, this is what we can do if we defend properly, and this is what we can do going forward. But again, the stats I know aren't good reading. They haven't been in previous games, but for me, we stepped it up a little bit in that second half. We gave it a go, and I'm quite proud of that second half in particular. I think to go to James Park and get a result, I think sometimes you have to put the circumstances aside and the context even, unfortunately, aside, and just go, look, it's a good result. And where we are right now is worrying. It's worrying. And so to go there and get a result, I'm very, very happy with. So I can only, of course, there are negatives. So I'm not going to ignore that. I'm not one of them. At the same time, I'm more positive after the game.
Yeah, I don't blame you for being positive
I think
after the game.
I think the point of it all is we've seen plenty of Tottenham sides come to St James's and fold. And last night when they went behind, Spurs stood up as a team and and tried to get back in again. And it was all epitomised by the man that got both goals for me, the captain. I thought it was outstanding.
Yeah, he was. And I think he has to take credit for that. Look, we conceded. I mean, the first goal was a brilliant. If that was a Newcastle player scoring that goal, I'd be over the moon. But I'd also be looking at it defensively. And Dan Burn, I'm not sure what the hell he was trying to achieve there, because I heard a comment on the radio today, which I totally agreed with, because the way Dan Burn went in to tackle Romero, he put his foot right up in his head towards his face. So if Romero had not got the ball, he probably would have won a penalty, because, Burn would have taken his head off. And then the defending for the last goal, Ramsdale's punch was, just straight up in the air, but the overhead kick, I mean, I've seen tortoises run quicker than that football was going into the back of the net last night. Alex, you look a bit puzzled there. What anything you'd like to say on that?
I wasn't sure where you were going to go with that, but yeah, no disrespect, Harry, but I very much think last night was a catastrophe from us defensively, because those two goals, we should have stopped them. It wasn't, I felt like our goal, apart from the penalty, slightly different scenario, but our attacks and a lot of our opportunities were well-engineered opportunities, whereas the two goals from Spurs are very much preventable, and we've gifted them two goals there. I mean, fair enough, Romero has to get in position to do that. However, you've got your 6'7" centre-half who can't win a ball in the box aerially, and then you've got two defenders ball-watching the ball go in the back of the net for the second goal. So it is absolutely avoidable, and we've thrown away 3 points against what is at the moment a weird transitional average Spurs side that should really be doing better with the money they spend. Let's not forget they've gone out and spent 60. So they've got some big names. They've got 5 strikers on the books. So it's no, this is no disrespect intended to Spurs, but I think we're in a better place at the moment, and we need to be beating teams like this. If we want to be where we want to be, we want to seat at the elite table, we need to swat that away and be winning these home fixtures against teams like Spurs. So it is massive 2 points dropped indeed.
Yeah, it is. And look, I think Lee from Newcastle Fans TV did a video straight after the game last night. It was interesting for me because he made a good point, actually, because he came out the ground and he said, I think that's where the supporters are in the clubs are in different places right now. Newcastle United fans had come out silent, feeling like we'd lost the game. Spurs fans, they were all chanting in the background, singing Spurs songs because they'd come away with a point. Telling. And it's very telling that meant so much to the Spurs fans to get that equaliser, and it did feel like
60 minutes as well, Paul. It was very much the Kudus and Bergvall show. There was nobody else doing anything, and I have issue with saying Romero was good, because I don't think Romero was good for an hour. I think most of Spurs were rubbish for an hour, and it was Bergvall and Kudus that were fantastic.
I think you've been a bit harsh, Alex. I think you've been a little bit harsh because
we were triple their shots with the majority of the possession,
but we didn't do anything with it, Alex. That's the problem. It's all right having triple the shots, but when we
rub of the green, though, isn't it? The Joe Linton chance just pinged off the inside of the post. It's just one of those. It doesn't mean that you didn't.
That Joe Linton one we said on commentary last night, Billy, didn't we? That hits the post 9 out of 10 times. A shot across the box like that hits the inside of the post and goes in. But it didn't. But I mean, Romero got away with a few things last night that maybe he could have been carded for. But the big question for me is, as a Spurs fan, what did you think of the penalty?
For me, firstly, I don't like to blame officials. So I don't like to look at this game and go, it's cost, Spurs either way. That's just not me, because you can overanalyze officiating. You have to look at yourself and your performance. I personally don't agree with the decision, but if you look at the letter of the law, it is, if you're over aggressive, it is a foul. But the fact is, for me, it's not necessarily the tackle. It's just the fact that we know if that happens again, it's likely we get a different decision. So my problem's not with that incident, it's with football as a whole and the whole inconsistency. I get some decisions are subjective. Exactly. Some decisions are objective. I can tolerate that being given, you're aggressive in the box. But for me, I think what he's telling, though, is Dan Burns' reaction. He was shocked that there was a VAR check going on, number one. He was like, what? And you had to say, what's wrong? And you could just hear what he's saying. You don't need to be able to kind of understand lip reading for that. And then he's just in his face once it was given. He didn't know what for. That's what he seemed to be doing, asking his teammates what was it for. And that for me is a little bit telling that he reckons. And Dan Burns is an aggressive player, and I like that with him. And whenever I've seen people blast Dan Burn, outside of Newcastle, going, oh, he's why is he in the team, etc. I go, he's actually better than you give him credit for. He does get stuck in. He's got to do a lot better, as you said earlier, that Romero one. If you can't mark a defender, you've got to look.
I mean, he's cost us 2 goals there, but yeah.
Normally, definitely cost you 2 goals. No, he's versatile. He's great left back, but he's usually versatile. But for me, it probably is. I think probably the wrong decision, but I don't want to see it as let's just focus on it, because we also performance, as you said there, we can improve, and there's some positives also to take away. So I don't want to, say that, summarize the whole night, which unfortunately fans will always, try and do.
The thing is, me and Billy mentioned this, that sort of thing was going on the whole game. So it's back to consistency. It was going on in both penalty boxes. And we'd seen it through numerous corners that had come in for both sides. And that's where we talk about the consistency. At the start of the season, anybody that even slightly touched a shirt was a penalty against you. And then it just died. It died a death. And then we weren't seeing penalties given for it. And then last night again, bang, there's a penalty for, look, letter of the law, I think, yes, it's a penalty, but really, I think we got slightly lucky with that. But listen,
let's not forget Spurs would have got one, Paul. Like, if Romero's kick hadn't have gone in, there was a very similar incident prior to that, and Spurs absolutely would have been given the penalty because of consistency reasons. They would have had to have given it. So even if we'd have defended that properly, I think Spurs would have ended up with a penalty regardless. So
it's infuriating for us to score when we did with the penalty, and then Eddie made I've seen Eddie get criticised today for the change he made. Now, obviously, taking off Miley, bringing on Fabian Schär to go 5 at the back, that for me was a strange one. I must admit, I know managers do it. They bring on an extra defender to try and shut the door, but we were on top in that game. For me, there was no need to go 5 at the back. We were controlling the game. Miley was playing really well. I don't see why he did it. That's just my opinion. I've seen other opinions disagreeing with that. I've seen opinions agreeing with it. Billy, what do you reckon? Do you think it gave Spurs the impetus just to keep going at us?
I just felt that with the extra man at the back, they kind of left things to each other, if sort of thing. Whereas before they were quite solid from corners and set pieces. I thought with the extra man in there, they were kind of leaving things to each other. And I'm not sure the 3 at the back works. I think, if you want to bring a defender on, maybe go just for the last 2 minutes, go back to the Dan Burn left back and share in the middle. Do that again, just for 2 minutes, just to shore things up. But no, I didn't agree with the decision to do that.
Sometimes you don't need to change it. That's what I'm trying to say. Is like sometimes you don't need to. If the game is, we're 2-1 up, were playing really well. Miley certainly was doing a good job where he was, and I didn't have a problem. Some people have criticised Miley for some strange reason. I don't get that at all. However, I just felt that it sort of said to me that we're going to sit back and soak this up. And we have said on this channel many, many times that Newcastle United cannot sit back and soak up pressure. They concede goals. We do it time after time after time. It's just normally it happens in the first 20 minutes of the game. When we've had a blistering start, we score within 5 minutes and then we sit back. Harry, can I just... Mr. Richarlison, we spoke about him when you were on the other night. That dive, and then to have the front that he did to go to the referee and grumble on, I mean, that was as spectacular dive as you're going to see, isn't it?
It's nothing new, though, is it, from Richarlison? Let's be honest with you.
Well, no, it's not.
I know why you're talking about it, and the commentator's discussing it, but I was like, he genuinely surprised this is Richarlison talking about. And listen, he's frustrating. You love him. It's that player that you love him when he plays for you, and you hate him if he doesn't. At the same time, I think you can look past the passion that he gives and also go, sometimes you're just a bit silly. Because Richarlison, when you build yourself a reputation like him as a player where you go over too easily, then when he actually is fouled, which isn't a lot, but it does sometimes happen, he doesn't get the foul. We had one out, just a free kick the other day, and I look at it back and I go, that's probably a foul in my eyes, but I blame him for not getting it because of how he is apart from that. And, I think as a player, not being funny, I might sound a bit horrible, but when you haven't got the ability to as other players have on the pitch, even for Spurs in an attacking sense, but also for you guys, maybe you feel like you have to kind of bend the rules a little bit, push your boundaries to be a bit sneaky and cheeky like that and try and get something because he knows he's probably not going to score, which is unfortunate. So Richarlison's one of those players, and I don't want to get too much into it necessarily, but Alex mentioned there, and he's right, Spurs have spent money, got the quality, but wasted money, the majority, if not all of the time. Richarlison, 60 million. Johnson, 60 million. This is not money well spent. 60 million should not be spent on Richarlison. There's strikers even now that you could pay 60 million that get you 3-4 times as many goals, are fit a lot more often, and than Richarlison. He was only bought because he was versatile, could play a couple of positions, and it stopped the club at the time, signing a left winger. So they only signed one player, whereas we needed two. So in the end, they'd argue it saved them money, even though they spent on Richarlison. But he's not, got the quality for me. Unfortunately, he's not a Brazilian. He's literally, he's Brazilian, but you wouldn't think he would be a Brazilian striker. You think, oh wow, Tottenham have a Brazilian striker that they spent 60 million on. But he just simply. It's really, really poor, unfortunately. I like the guy and he's been through a lot. I get that. And he does work hard. And that's the thing why get told him for me, and why as fans, in the end, when we have the conversation, we decide, maybe we should keep him because 110% fights for the badge, great in derbies. But sometimes you have to look past that and go, you haven't got the quality to get us from here to here.
Well, Harry, listen, it was great to have you on again, telling us about the Spurs side. Really do enjoy getting your feedback on it. Good luck for the rest of the season, mate. Keep going with your channel. Just give your channel a shout out again.
Firstly, thank you very much for having me. Wish Newcastle all the best for the rest of the season. I had the privilege a couple of seasons ago for about 18 months to write articles on Newcastle. They're a great club, and I've spoken about it so many times. I think the atmosphere at home, you're a tough team to go against, and you're a good side to watch. Physical, aggressive, that's why I like to play football in my eyes. You give it 110%. But thank you. You can follow me at Harry Scarf 22 across all socials. But my YouTube channel is just under my name, Harry Scarf. We do, Tottenham content, but for those Newcastle fans, we do cover them with Premier League news, cover England in every single international break, and beyond that, England women, Spurs women, FPL, we'll cover a lot, and interviews, collaborations. So there's always a lot going on. And there was a lot for this game as well, collaborated with loads of different great Newcastle fans. But honestly, I'm not just saying this. I do wish you the best for the rest of the season. I like Eddie Howe, a manager that won't get enough credit. For me, should absolutely remain in charge of Newcastle. I don't agree with some of the criticism he got yesterday. So I do wish you well and hope that come the end of the season, you can work your way up the table and compete for European places. All
right, Harry. Thanks very much, mate. You take care of yourself. We'll speak soon.
Thank you very much for having me.
Take care, buddy. Good night. So that was Harry. Incredible, Billy, 16-year-old. And he's a big advocate for autism as well. He does a lot for that as well. He speaks so well.
A very talented kid. Very talented.
Yeah, he's going to go a long way. A couple of super chats in. Lewis Riley says, well, this was a comment that I picked up on. True Geordie tweeted the truth last night. Basically, until we sign a few people who can play football rather than just runners, we won't go to the next level. There was a lot of complaints last night about the passing again being a little bit off. Certain players not not at the races, but we'll come on to all that. Lachlan says it's a stonewall penalty all day. They just don't give them. If it's legal, every defender is allowed to do that to every attacker. Make them penalties and players will stop doing it. Well, that's what we thought at the start of the season, when they were actually giving penalties all the time for it. But they started just to die off. Grange Toon says, ask Harry where he thinks they'll finish this season. Well, he's gone now, but I don't think Harry's very confident of finishing high up in the table. Peter says, apologies, my super chat last night was supposed to read, we should have dropped Alanga and Bruno. Also, Ramsey, Bruno and Alanga must start on Saturday. Well, we'll discuss Saturday on Friday night when it comes to trying to work out what the hell we're going to do. But we need to put a man of the match poll up, fellas, for our viewers to vote on for last night. Now, I'm going to go first this time because I never go first. So I'm going to go first and get it over with because there's not a lot of selections, to be honest, I don't think. But... Well, I've just been honest.
I know. It's a tough one today. It's a tough one today.
Yeah. And I'm going to go first, and I still haven't got a clue who I'm going to pick. Jesus.
No, you can't pick him.
I don't think anyone had the perfect game, did they? So.
Well, no, but I guess there was one or two. Do you know what it is? I've gone for Bruno. I know he only played 45 minutes, but he changed the game for me. He pushed us farther forward. Yeah, a brilliant goal as well. Billy?
Yeah, it probably would have been on my choice too. So I'm going to say Lewis Hall.
Yeah, okay.
Is that yours,
Come on, Alex.
You bugger. Well, purely based on the fact that I don't think anybody can remember Brennan Johnson playing at all yesterday, I'm going to pick Tino Livramento.
Yeah. Okay, now we need a fourth. Can I throw Miley in the hat, please?
Yeah, you can.
Yes, I'm cool with that. That's a fair shout.
How long was Anthony Gordon on for?
No.
Not long. Not very long.
No. That does not... He's taken that pen off of Voltemada. He's got a goal and a contribution for his team through sheer luck that he happened to
Alex, massively involved in the other goals as well, Alex. I don't remember it.
He's our penalty taker. We know that. He's the assigned penalty taker when he's on the pitch.
Voltemada to take it. I was very annoyed that they took it off Voltemada. I don't like Anthony Gordon on penalties at all.
No, if he'd gone the right way, he saved it, but he didn't, did he?
All right, Michael Owen.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
If you'd have gone the right way to save
Michael
it.
Owen. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. So we're going for Miley?
Yeah, I think that's
fair.
fair.
Miley deserves it. He's yeah. I don't think Tonali did enough to sneak into a man of the match.
It was fucking dreadful.
Tonali, he was absolutely shocking last night, Alex.
Yeah, I'm just talking through other players.
No, Billy knew you'd do this. Billy knew you couldn't go through a man of the match selection without naming Tonali, whether you were going to put him in or not.
I'm not putting him in. That's why he came off.
You wanted to, though. It was.
No, he's got an injury. He's got an injury, hasn't he?
I don't know. Has he?
Apparently, he's got a knee injury.
I haven't heard anything, but
something wrong with his knee.
Well, there you go, folks. It is there for you now, guys. Go and vote. It's Bruno. Is it Miley? Is it Lewis Hall? Or is it Tino Livramento? Who is it? Is the question. I mean, at least, hey, I tell you something. At least one player's not going to win it today.
Yeah, it won't be Malik Chow.
No. It is not going to be Chow Chow Chow, which makes a change.
Spurs players. That's not how this works, Harry.
No. For him, no. Toon Steel says Joe Linton playing the entire 99 minutes is shocking. £40 million for a player who refuses to play while he keeps playing his favourites is getting old. Grange Toon says Gordon only plays good when Hall plays. Fact. Well,
He's played quite
I
well
guess
a
so.
few times and Lewis
Most of the
played.
team only plays good when Hall plays.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That's quite correct.
I mean, the first 20 minutes from Lewis Hall yesterday was just incredible.
Yes, it
So
was.
some of his touches and getting out of danger were absolutely superb. Just brilliant to watch, left, right, and centre. He was just superb. But listen, we do need to talk about the goalkeeping situation, guys, because everybody was clamouring for Ramsdale to come in. Billy, you mentioned a few times during the commentary that you weren't sold. Some of the decisions that he was making yesterday coming off his line, going back, he seemed very uncertain of things. The punch for the goal, the actual fact that got past him. But listen, I'll stick up for him in that incident because I don't think he saw the ball. I think you've got Dan Burn and Chow stand right in your way. By the time he saw the ball, it was past him. But you not sold?
Absolutely not. I don't think the answer to replace Nick Pope is Aaron Ramsdale. There's a reason why Arsenal got rid of him, and there's a reason why when they did get rid of him, nobody wanted him except for Southampton. He has bits of his game that aren't there the same as Pope doesn't. He's fine with his feet. I like his footwork. It's fantastic. But when they're banging in crosses to him left, right, and centre, I don't think he's the man you want in your net.
Alex?
Billy's not wrong. We talked about this when we had the whole conversation about Pope versus Ramsdale. It's very much a lesser of two evils. They're both good at certain things. They're both bad at certain things or lacking in certain areas. Ramsdale contributing and build up as an extra man is sublime. It helps us so much. We look like a better team. But yeah, I wasn't confident in certain scenarios yesterday either. So I don't think either of them are the long-term option for us to, again, I talked about this at the beginning of the show. We are trying to make that step to be an elite club. We want to have the fancy Adidas elite logo. We want to be in the Champions League every year. We want to be best in class. And neither Ramsdale nor Pope are the goalkeepers to take that step. So this is very much a placeholder at the moment. Goalkeeper is a placeholder for Newcastle United right now. And Ramsdale has to continue to play because he is closer to what the future goalkeeper is going to be, in my opinion. Somebody who can play with his feet. So Ramsdale's going to make mistakes similarly to how Nick Pope has been making mistakes. They're both not the long-term answer, but I think Ramsdale is a closer move to what we're going to sign. But obviously giving Nick Pope a 1-year extension concerns me because we've got the option for Ramsdale and we extended Nick Pope another year. So I really hope we're not kicking this can too much further down the years because we need to sort this. I would say in the next 12 to 18 months, we need to get the goalkeeping house in order because we've got Vlachodimos spouting his mouth off abroad. We've got Ruddy. We've got Gillespie with his pom-poms. We need to sort the goalkeepers out. It's ridiculous now. It's getting a bit silly. We look embarrassing.
Well, look, we've mentioned, obviously, James Trafford a lot on here, but that's because Newcastle were after him for a long time. And that's why we mentioned James Trafford. Personally, I don't think he's the answer either. I think we need a goalkeeper. There's a lot of good goalkeepers out there, but we need a goalkeeper that's going to come in and be the number one for years and years. And we need to find
it's
that
hard
keeper.
to get that right, though. And they're expensive.
It is.
The last few teams that have gone in to buy that standard is when teams have gone in and bought an Allison and an Edison, a Donnarumma. To go and pick one that is going to be able to do it is a £60 million goalkeeper minimum. They're very expensive. Or you go 10 to 30 and hope that they develop into what you want.
We had a free run at Mamardashvili, but Howe liked Pope as his number one.
We did not have a free run at him. Liverpool wanted him.
Yeah.
Absolutely did not have a free run at him.
I mean, look, I don't think we had a free run at him in any stretch of the imagination, but there is goalkeepers out there. Listen, we've been linked with plenty in the past, haven't we? There's plenty goalkeepers out there that we have been linked with. But I think the Trafford one now has sailed. I don't think we'll go back in for Trafford and pay Manchester City,
regrets that.
Crazy. Well, of course he does.
It depends what they want. It depends what they want for him.
Yeah, well, Billy, surely, what did they pay back for him? 30.
Yeah, they want the money back at least, though.
Right, so they'll want the money back and more, won't they? So they're not. Surely we're not going to pay that kind of money. I think that's criminal if we do. I couldn't agree with that.
I don't know. He's a 21-year-old goalkeeper who's going to be someone's goalkeeper the next 13 years. I think he's value for money, personally.
Alex?
What, as in who would I get, or are we talking about James Trafford specifically?
Well, Trafford at the minute.
I don't know enough to make a call on that. Is what I've seen of him this season is meh, but he's one of those goalkeepers where he's young enough and he's believed in enough by top people in football, but it doesn't mean it's a sure thing. And he's still a very young goalkeeper. So, in 3 to 5 years, he could be the answer, but it doesn't always work out that way. So,
do you know the keeper that I think we missed out on that we could have had for a long time? Kelleher. I generally did like him.
That's
and
the answer either.
Why?
I'm not sure it's much of a step up on Ramsdale.
It
is a step up, but I don't think it's moving mountains. It might be 10-20% better.
There's no point going to a club and signing their B team goalkeeper, their reserve goalkeeper. We need to get a bona fide number one from a club, which means you have to spend money for him. Simple as that.
But listen, the problem is,
except Trafford, who's obviously gone in at Man City. The pressure's been a little bit too much for him out there, and then they've gone and got Donnarumma. I just think if he came to us, I think being guaranteed that spot, I think he'd come good. I really do.
The thing is, we know that Pope signed an extension, hasn't he? So he's here next season. So the way Eddie Howe feels about Nick Pope, in Eddie's own mind, do you think he feels like he needs a new number one?
Well, it does mean that you could get a transfer fee for him if necessary. Yeah. But it all hinges on what we do with Ramsdale. Because if we get to the summer and we decide to sign Ramsdale, in what capacity are we signing him? To surely, if we're going to make him a permanent, he's not going to get anything less than a 3-year deal, you would imagine, which means we're putting some trust in him, and that as a signing. Or if we decide not to make that permanent, we're then back to Ruddy as the second choice. So we're going to have to go shopping, but Nick's still around for another year.
I mean, personally, I think it's an absolute disgrace that John Ruddy is on the bench for us last night. I think it's a disgrace.
I did a show on this about 2 years ago that I was not happy with all the contracts and how the future was shaping up. And literally 2 years further down the line, we're not really any closer to an answer.
I mean, why isn't Thompson on the bench last night? Come on. I mean, if he's in the academy, he's in the academy for a reason. Yet they're putting a goalkeeper who basically is probably a more of a goalie coach and a model for dressing gowns and things like that. I think it just explains the situation. And listen, it's nothing new, this goalkeeping crap. We've known we've needed a goalkeeper for so bloody long now. I'm just frightened for when Nick Pope's fit, because honestly, the whole thing scares me. I have to say,
still a Mike Ashley thing. This is the very last dregs of the disease that was. We've got rid of most of it now, but this was the last thing that we were clinging on to. How much did we pay for Pope? Was it 13, 10, something like that? Ish.
I think it was 10, wasn't it?
10, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that was very much a Pope is for the next phase.
Yeah.
And that would see us through, right? But we're now approaching another phase.
We've lost 11 points from winning positions. and we're top of the league for losing. Guess who's top of the league for gaining points from losing positions?
Sunderland.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Not really surprised. Magpie 50 says, Paul, that skill from Hall you commented on was filthy. Oh, that by the touchline, but just incredible. Spike Milligan, some of Hall's footwork was wicked. David Smith, member for 42 months. Thank you, David. What was the Spurs keeper mourning about at the end of the first half? Something got thrown at him, I believe. That's what he was trying to whinge at.
Can I just clarify my point? Because I think a few people are confused. I know that Mike Ashley was not involved in signing Nick Pope. I'm talking about just before the takeover, Mike Ashley gave really long contract extensions to players like Dwight Gale, Isaac Hayden, Jamal Lewis, and absolutely screwed us because none of them were good enough to be starting consistently for the club at all, even in that season. And it ruined us financially. And we're only just in a position where we've got sellable assets. Like Maxi was the first person we could sell of any value because there was nobody on the books that we could just get rid of for any amount of money. So I'm talking about. I'm trying to address that. And the goalkeeper is the last thing we've made world class. We've tried to recruit top, best in class for everything else. Strikers, Voltamada and Visser. We've got Tonali and Bruno in the middle. We've recruited top quality fullbacks, centre halves, goalkeepers at last place. If you go around most of the Premier League teams, at least ones that are trying to challenge for Europe, most of them would not take our goalkeepers.
It's a good point. Peter says, would you go for Martinez from Villa in January? Gaza Toon says, City will want Livramento in a swap deal for Trafford. Toon Steel says, Costa would be ideal. And Peter says, selling the likes of Pope should be made by Wilson. Well, we will see. It is now time to do the player ratings. But before we do, don't forget, guys, we partnered up with Lineup Builder who do our graphics for the match days and the news videos, etc. They have a quiz page now available, so please go and visit that. It's pinned right at the top of the description. If you fancy yourself as a football guru, take on your family, your friends. The questions update every single day. There's various different sections to choose from. There's guess the player, there's bingo, there's all sorts of stuff on there. So give it a visit and challenge yourself if you think you are a football guru. It is pinned at the top of the description. And also, don't forget the toonreview.com, where you can go for all your Toon Review merchandise. You can scan the QR code that's on the screen now, or the link for that is just underneath the Lineup Builder one at the top of the description. Christmas coming up, guys. We've had a whole load of orders coming in, so thank you to everybody that's placed an order. There's hoodies, t-shirts, mugs, coffee mugs, drinks, what are they called? Travel mugs, beanie hats, caps. There's all sorts on there, so give it a visit, guys. In the build up to Christmas, get yourself something nice for Christmas or a loved one, and the turnaround's about 3 to 5 days. They're made to order. Get them in soon if you want them for Christmas. That's the toonreview.com, and get yourself something deliciously nice from that website. Right, it's player ratings time. So, guys, take part in the chat with the player ratings. Let us know how you feel about certain players. Billy, we start off with Ramsdale.
Yeah, just didn't look confident at all last night. Very, very finicky, in and out of off the line and stuff like that. Again, he was good with his feet, as he always is. He's a good footballer, as Stato says. But goalkeeping wise, I thought his punch for the second goal was dreadful. You've got to be a lot more determined to get that further away from goal. I'll give him a 4.
4? Ouch.
He's cost us 2 points, in my opinion.
Okay, Alex? I don't think he's cost us the points. I think the defenders should have sorted that out personally, but still not as convinced. Maybe a 5.5. He gets points for the technical stuff, but then some of the saving and commanding his area, and it wasn't fantastic. I'm not going to pretend like it was. So 5.5.
Well, I've gone 6. But I don't think he was outstanding, but I don't think he was. He did look a bit shaky at times, but I don't think the second goal, people throwing at him or coming at him at a snail's pace, he didn't see it. If you look at the shot behind the goal, he's got two massive men mountains in front of him. There's no way he saw that. It was a bit of a poor punch. I don't know why Chow or Bird didn't just clear that ball. Didn't just put the fucking foot through it. I don't get it.
If he's coming out to punch that ball, he's got to get it way out the area.
Yeah, he has. He has. I agree with that.
It's a massive mistake. It's a massive mistake.
Dan Robinson says, I think Howe has taken us as far as he can. His stubbornness, loyalty to certain players, lack of plan B has cost us too much. Change is needed now. And Peter McCardle, member for 22 months, says, while Eddie is here, Pope will be his number one. Somewhat scary comment, that. Tino Livramento, Billy.
Yeah, very, very good. A couple of stages where he lost the ball a couple of times, but for 90% of the game, I thought he was outstanding. Yeah, I thought he had a really good game. Always wanted to join the attack. Defensively, really solid. I'll give Tino a 8.
8. Alex?
I think that's a good score. I agree with an 8. I think that's solid. I know it sounds strange because we conceded 2 goals, but again, Johnson basically didn't exist yesterday. So I think Livramento deserves a lot of credit for that. He put up some really good numbers. Apart from, I know that the times you were talking about, Billy, where he maybe fell asleep a little bit, but passing accuracy 97%,
Wow.
90% accurate in the opposition half. Really, really good defensive numbers as well. If I can find them. 9 recoveries and 7 clearances is pretty monstrous. And yeah, he's integral to the way we play. So 8, he was fine.
What are you giving?
8.
8. Yeah, 8 for me. I thought he was absolutely sound. And let's not forget, guys, he's played all these games and he hasn't been integrated back into the side. He's just been thrown back in and had to get his match fitness by reasons of Trippier being injured. And I think it's incredible. The engine that this kid shows and the fact that he just keeps going, it's unbelievable. And he's such a good player down that right-hand side. Lewis Hall, Billy.
Some of the stuff he did in the first half an hour was astonishing, really, for left back.
Yeah,
no, it was Brazil 1970 stuff. Some of it, but I felt as the game went on, I felt Kudus gave him a big challenge. Actually, I thought it was a good battle between the two of them. I think Kudus had a good game also. Went past him a couple of times. I'll give Lewis Hall. In fact, the first goal was a cross that Lewis Hall was maybe expecting to go on the outside of him, and he hits it early. So good play from Kudus, a really good battle between the two of them. But Lewis Hall, outstanding performance apart from a couple of fading later on. I'll give him a 8.5.
Okay. Alex?
I don't think I can go quite as high as Billy, despite agreeing with everything he said. Absolute little wizard, as I'm going to continue to call him. Freak of nature, who is some kind of secret Italian trickster, midfielder that plays as a left back and just does everything. You know, he had 3 shots on goal, so creative, just a ridiculous player. However, I'm going to go for a 7.5 because Kudus did get the better of him more than I would have liked, and it created a few high value opportunities for Spurs. So I have to deduct for that because it's just one of those things. But you're never going to shut out your opposition player 100%. Well, unless you're Tino, but it's because Brennan Johnson's rubbish.
Brennan Johnson's rubbish.
He's really bad.
Yeah,
Does anybody remember him playing yesterday?
Well, he was like that in the Cup, Alex, in the Carabao Cup. He did nothing either. He was really poor.
No, but I remember him in the Cup game because he kept getting the ball and doing stuff wrong with it. But I don't even remember him doing anything yesterday. I can't recall one moment of him dribbling with the ball. He wasn't there.
He put one really good cross in, I think, in the first half. Second half, sorry. Where he was pinned into the corner flag and he managed to get a really good crossing. But that's all I can remember Brennan Johnson actually doing. I've gone for an 8 for Lewis Hall. I mean, just love the kid. He's just got so much confidence. And there is time. We said this yesterday, Billy. He is going to make a couple of mistakes. He's still very young and still kind of raw, I guess. But he is by far an incredible left back, and the odd mistake.
I don't think he was raw yesterday.
No,
Kudus
I
was
said
just
he's
really
generally speaking, he's still in that kind of. But listen, he's fantastic.
I don't think he's raw at all. I think he's refined.
No, Alex, if you look at him, sometimes he makes a couple of decisions that you're thinking still a little bit raw on the decision making, but
occasionally he'll commit himself a little bit too early. Not all the time, but he does it now and again.
Thanks for getting me out that hole, Billy. Right, Dan Burn, Bill.
Blame him totally for the first goal. Somehow won us the penalties. That kind of evens that out. I thought he wanted to be inspirational, but just wasn't. 5.5.
5.5. Okay, Alex.
A 3. He was at fault for both goals. The first one severely at fault for. I put that down to his defensive performance that we did not get 3 points in this match.
I've gone a 4. I thought he was pretty dreadful yesterday. But what I did think was he looked leggy. He looked tired yesterday. And I don't know whether you noticed, Billy, but sort of he was barking and shouting at a lot of people, like very frustrated yesterday. And he seemed to be, that creeps in when you're tired, you're mentally tired, you're physically tired, you know, a little bit of, you feel a bit, you know, that you've got to shout at people and just feel a bit ratty sometimes. And maybe it is that he does need a rest. He's played a lot of football. So, but yeah, I thought he should have done better on the first goal. He lost his man completely. And would have given a penalty away had he not headed that in, because he would have kicked him in the head. And the second goal as well. Just
I mean, Alan Ramsdale shouldn't have to come out and punch forward when you've got a 6'7" centre half there, to be honest.
Yeah.
I still think that's instructional, because Pope was doing it 2 weeks ago. We've started. I don't know if it's the set piece coach that's doing it, but all of a sudden, both goalkeepers are trying to punch everything.
Yeah.
And I don't remember this being a thing beyond sort of before like October. This wasn't happening. Now they're trying to punch everything. It's really weird.
Yeah. Malik Chow, Billy.
I don't recall him doing anything wrong as such. Maybe about the second goal. Maybe he could have got some kind of boot on the ball as it rolled past him at 0.003 miles per hour. But aside from that,
it was tragic, wasn't it?
I thought he played pretty well. Apart from that, you know, again, he likes to get on the front foot. He likes to get us forward. He's a good passer of the ball.
Yeah.
Defensively, I didn't think he was at any kind of trouble at all, apart from that second goal, which was ridiculous. Really, I'll give him a 7.
Okay. Tyneside updates with the super chats is why do we have 6 different players taking corners? Tonali, Miley, Hall, Murphy, Alanga, Bruno, and we wonder why there is no consistency. I was furious yesterday when Miley was taken off the corners, because the first corner that Tonali hit went straight to the first man, and then he took a couple of others before Miley went back on them again. It was so infuriating. And then Miley, some of the corners he put in again were superb. So were Bruno's, by the way. Bruno put a couple in just under the bar.
Bruno nearly scored with one.
Yeah, which I thought was Miley, but we'll skip over that. But he did take, very, very good corners. But I don't know. Anyway, Alex, Malik Chow.
Yeah, Billy's summed it up pretty well, as he always does. Didn't really do much wrong.
Did you hear that, Billy? I think Alex just praised you there.
Chased that. I've got stars going around my eyes.
I mean, it's always pretty easy to do a player analysis after Billy, because he sums it up really well. So,
oh my goodness me, Jesus. Hey.
But yes, has to take some of the blame for taking about 8.5 seconds to just go.
I still can't believe that second goal. I still can't believe that went just unreal.
It was in
slow motion. And the fact it came off his bloody shin pad as well, which is more annoying.
It was near his knee and his shin.
Yeah, I know.
Chow can have a 7. We'll go 7 because he was very steady for the majority of the game.
Yeah. 7's across the board. I've gone 7 as well. Isn't it amazing, though, that this is the first time he hasn't been on the man of the match poll for a long time. And he's still getting 7s because he's just superb, isn't he? He just is. He's absolutely superb. And the way he brings the ball out, the technical gift that man has to pass a ball is incredible. So I just love... what are you laughing
Can
at,
I just
Trey?
bring somebody up on something? Right, Martin. First half, Burn was cutting everything. Yeah. Okay. We're talking about the second half in which the 2 goals were conceded and Burn was at fault for both. So you are correct. Absolutely. I'm not being harsh for the second half, which was the main problem.
Yeah,
I'm not only rating him on 45 minutes. Yeah,
plus we don't listen to what Sky have to say anyway, to be fair, because, it's Sky. Thank you. Toon Army, Billy?
Not at the office, was he at all yesterday? I don't know, a bad day at the office. I don't think he even made it to the office. Just didn't see him himself. He's gone off with a knock, apparently, to his knee. And he played like he was slightly under the weather with injury. So, definite one-off. Not usually like that at all. And it pains me to say it, but I'm going to give him a 4.
Okay. Alex?
I mean, really careful passing and kept things ticking along in a very defensive way.
What?
Nothing. I mean, he was 24 out of 25 passes, Paul. So
yeah, but a lot of them were like 2 yards, Alex. They weren't real meaty.
That was my next point, but you've stopped me
because
everything was sideways. He wasn't proactive. Do you want to do my rating for me, Paul? Go on.
No, carry on, mate. I'm just...
Because you are saying the same things as I am, you just in a frustrated way. I agree with you. He was passing side to side. He wasn't proactive. He wasn't range finding. It was meh. You know, and Joe Linton was looking better, and I don't think Joe Linton was great. So, and Miley was looking better. So, not a great first half for Sandro, but he's fine. He'll be fine. Don't worry about him. He can have a 5. I'm going to give him a 5 for turning up, and he can stay right in the middle. I'm not going to go up or down on a rating.
Well, I watched Chris yesterday after the game and his live reaction he was on with Mark, and I nearly had a heart attack when he said it. He says that he was like, I don't know what's going on with Toon Army. I don't know whether he wants out and that he knows he's leaving at the end of the season. He's down tools and
that's a weird thing to say.
Well, it was blatant panic because he was put right. Mark put him right straight away, but you could tell that Chris, his voice was panicky. He was like, "Oh my God, what's happening to Toon Army?" Which I think many people are worried when Toon Army doesn't play well. Everybody's like, "Oh my God," but yeah, he wasn't great last night. But if he has got a knee injury, then maybe that explains a lot as to why we weren't seeing the speed and the engine that he has, because we know he's got it. But I don't know. Oh,
I'm going to have to go, guys, because Ryan doesn't like me. Sorry.
Pardon? Alex needs sacked. Oh, dear.
Unless you put the wrong vowel in sacked.
Jason says, Paul, you should go first sometimes. You always seem to go mid Billy and Alex all the time. We have a rotation, right? Billy, Alex, me. And I'm the host. I can do that. It's going to be the same rating anyway, so it doesn't matter.
We're all pretty aligned with all of this anyway today.
Absolutely. I've gone 4.5 for Toon Army, by the way. Just again, I will echo the thoughts of my fellow colleagues. And I just don't think he was at the races. And I'm worried that if he is injured, these injuries keep coming around and it's like, oh my God, is Eddie going to say, well, he's going for a scan? It could be a couple of weeks. We'll see what happens. And all of those, your bellends in the chat having a dig at me can kiss my ass, right? Calling me a dictator and cry if he wants to because it's my channel. Yes, it's my ball and I will take it. Anyway, Lewis Miley, Billy.
Again, he followed on from Saturday. I thought he was very mature again. Set pieces again were great. He's just becoming that player that he does all the perfect things for you. He does a lot of defensive work. Sometimes he doesn't do it well enough, but most of the time he does. Rarely gives the ball away. I'll give him a 7.
7. Alex.
Yeah, he was good. He's looking. I wouldn't have said this 3 matches ago, but kind of looks like he belongs in the midfield. I know
Can
we
I
didn't
ask you
win.
something, Alex? Can I ask you a question about Miley? And I mentioned this to Billy last night. I think Miley looks more comfortable with Bruno alongside him than he does Tonali. I don't know what you think of that, but I just think when Bruno came on in the second half,
Bruno plays
Miley
well with
looked
Miley.
better.
We said it. We said it against Everton. They look good together in the midfield, and I think Joe Linton's going to be the scapegoat ultimately, long term for this. I was not expecting. We were expecting it to happen at some point. I hadn't got it down for start of December, end of November. I didn't think Miley was just going to suddenly appear and just be in midfield for like several games and look like he's ready. And he kind of does, to be fair. A lot of the other midfielders are having a funny time. Bruno's going through a funny time despite having a good couple of weeks. Tonali's hot and cold at the moment. He's had illness, a few issues. Joe Linton's not quite performing to his levels. Willock and Ramsey can't seem to get a look in. And Miley seems to be that guy. So, and he's putting up some good numbers. I mean, physically, he's got, 10 out of 15 duels? That's really good. That's impressive. You know, if anybody's talking about his age and his physicality, he's tall, he's combative, he's winning the physical challenges, he's a good decision maker for his age as well. Passing's good. He's contributing in set pieces. He had 3 shots as well, but two of his shots on target. They were solid shots. They're not quite good enough to get goals from, but they were good.
I think he was disappointed with his first one, but you see what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
He's trying to curl it in the corner, but he didn't catch it right, did he? But the fact he's there, he's in them positions. You know, that's a real positive.
I'm going to go for an 8.5 for Miley, and I'd like to see Joe Linton dropped for Miley.
Oh,
and go for a Bruno Tonali. Miley.
I've gone 7.5 for Miley. I think I agree with you, Alex. I think there's a lot of reports lately, isn't there, about coming up to the transfer window and Newcastle looking for a replacement. You'd be incredible how many people are saying Newcastle are looking for a Joe Linton replacement.
Do we need a replacement of anybody?
That's what I was saying, Alex. I think we've got one there in Miley.
We've got 3 midfielders on the bench.
We've got Willock and Ramsey there as well. Yeah, it's.
We could
I don't think we do.
We could probably get rid of one for a transfer fee and just crack on.
Yeah. Joe Linton, Billy.
Yeah, again, not quite at the races, but not poor. Average performance. Hard to mark him, really. Hit the post, really good effort. We're unfortunate not to score. I'll give him a 7.
7. Alex?
Again, I'm going to take the words right out of Billy's mouth. Really hard one to mark because there was a 25-minute stint where he looked like the Joe Linton from about 2 years ago. He just kept popping in as a little striker and just losing his man and just appeared time and time again. There were at least 3 or 4 occasions where they didn't send it when Joe Linton had made fantastic runs. Do you remember when we had that season where it was Willock and Joe Linton left side and they just shadowed, rotated, everything just clicked. Yeah. Joe Linton did a lot of that movement yesterday, and I've not seen it for ages. He kept running beyond the back 4 of Spurs, and he popped up, nearly got a goal for it, and then it just all stopped. For some magical reason, it never happened again. It was really weird. Yeah. Really poor physically for who he is. 3 out of 11 ground duels is pathetic, considering you are Joe Linton and you are known as the destroyer. Every week now, I'm reading out his duels, and it's always quite poor. And I am a bit concerned. And I think he's going to lose his place sooner rather than later. I've got to give him a mark.
You have
6.5.
I've given him a 5. I don't think he was. I think the second half he was dreadful. There was times where he just lost the ball. And, you know, I watched a few of the journalist videos last night saying that he was passing the ball out to play at times and he wasn't even hitting black and white shirts. And it was unbelievable. And I agree, Alex. You know, those stats don't lie about the duels. He should not be losing that many. He is
It is every week now, though.
Yeah. And I just think that maybe time is ticking on Joe Linton. And I don't like saying that because I bloody love Joe Linton. I think everybody does. But football, we said this many times as well, the football doesn't stand still for anybody. And when you've got youngsters like Miley coming through, playing as well as he is, you know, the pressure's on. The pressure is on, and he's got to start looking better. But I thought second half yesterday, he was absolutely terrible. But there you go. Murphy, Billy. Oh, dear.
I don't know what to say.
I knew this was coming.
I seriously don't know what to say. I think it's time that Jacob Murphy has a stint on the bench and that allows Alanga to have a run of games in the side to get himself ready for, you know, to get gelled properly. Because last night, for all the poor performances he's given, and he's given some good ones too, not denying that, but for all the poor ones he's given, I think that was possibly the worst. I thought it was absolutely dreadful.
He did one good thing with that Joe Linton pass, didn't he? When he hit the post, it was Murphy that put him through.
Yeah.
But that was the only thing he did.
And the other good thing he did was not come out for the second half or whenever he got substituted. I'm gonna give him a 0. He was fucking awful.
Oh. Alex?
Ouch. I'm not going to give him a 0. But it wasn't his best day. It was concerning considering Alanga's done a little bit better recently. I expected a fresh Jacob Murphy to come back into the side and give Spurs a little bit more of a problem. Did get 3 accurate crosses, which goes down as 3 key passes. And that's the end of my... Yeah, that was it. He didn't really do a lot else. He was very anonymous. I mean, I mock Brennan Johnson, but Murphy's not far away from that bracket. He didn't do a lot yesterday. I'll go with... I was going to go for 5, but he did have 4 shots, to be fair. 4 shots, 3 key passes. He found a black and white shirt 3 times with crosses. I've got to rate that.
10.
There was also one, Alex, at the back post in the first half, which he got in Miley's way. That was a tap in, and then he rolled behind the goal, holding his thigh as if he'd been.
Hamstring had gone. Yeah, I do remember that.
It was. He knew.
I'm not saying I'm going to give him positives.
Completely.
I'm not going to go positive because of those things because I've got to factor in all the negatives. I'm going to keep him at a 5 because he did. There was a few good things and a few bad things. So I'll stay with a 5.
I think you've had a Castor with that one, Alex. I've gone for a 2. Dreadful. But you know what? Let's move on because he put in Jacob Murphy is capable of things like that pass he put into Joe Linton. And then he does the most weirdest things after that.
He just needed him to contribite in other phases of play, and he just
doesn't though. Yeah, Harvey Barnes. Well, not recently, Alex. He's had more downs and ups recently, which is why I agree with Billy. He needs a bit of time on the bench, I think. Harvey Barnes, Billy.
Yeah, I enjoyed his performance. I thought he was a threat. I think he got past Perron for a few occasions and some nice passing as well. Some great link-up play with him and Hall again. I'll give Barnes a 7. I think he's playing really well at the minute.
Mm-hmm. Alex?
His least impressive performance out of the last sort of 5 or 6, but he set a very high bar. So, you can't do it all the time. But he was still good. There was intelligence in there. There was a couple of shots.
I think he's tired. I think he looked tired last night. He's played a lot of games in back-to-back, hasn't he?
I think we all thought Gordon was going to come in and start just for rotation, and Barnes started again. So I do think it was probably a mistake to start Barnes because he looked like he'd played one too many in a short space of time, to be fair.
Yeah.
Even though he looked fine. I'll go with a 6.5. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just don't think he did enough to warrant any higher scoring.
Yeah, I've gone the same, Alex. I've gone 6.5. I thought he worked really hard again last night. He looks, I don't know, he looks a different player now, doesn't he? To what he has done when he first joined us. I know, Billy, you weren't sure of him, but I think the £40 million fee is starting to, seem really good now. We were all questioning.
I think the games he's won us and the goals he's scored has paid for his transfer
paid for
fee.
that.
He's won us a
without
lot
a doubt.
of games.
I think confidence. I think it's a confidence thing with him.
Oh, 100%. Nick Voltemada, Billy.
Tough one to mark because I don't think he was great last night, if I'm perfectly honest. Always makes some lovely flicks and little passes. He's always going to do that because he's a quality player. But I felt Spurs marshaled him pretty well, to be honest, and I don't think he really got into the game that much. I'll give him a 6.
Yeah, he seemed to have a difficult time against the two centre-backs yesterday. Alex?
A tricky one. 10 out of 20 duels. We didn't quite get all of the tricky feet didn't quite pay off with anything for the team. It wasn't through lack of trying though. Technically, he gets an assist on paper for Bruno's goal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Bruno engineered 90% of that, but fair enough. He gets it on paper. What do I give him? I'll go for a 6.5 as well. I think 6.5 is my go-to score if people have done okay, but not warranted anything super positive because he was all right.
I've gone 6. I agree with Billy. I just think we just miss. I mean, we've said it a million times. We miss the pace up front, don't we? We miss those runs of an out-and-out striker that we're going to get with Wissa. He will offer us something very. Yeah, and it was crying out. You said yesterday, Billy, it was crying out for somebody like obviously with Wissa injured, Asula. Maybe he could have come on and done something different for 20 minutes, but obviously he's injured, so it wasn't to be. But a 6 for me. With the subs, when did the subs come on? I think it was
Bruno at half time.
Bruno, yeah. Bruno, Billy?
I thought it was bloody fantastic for the half he was on. Great goal. Fantastic pass out to, I think it was Barnes, was it? In behind the defender. Outstanding pass, it really was. Was it Barnes he passed it? I'm sure it was Barnes.
Yeah, it was. It was Barnes, yeah.
What a ball it was. Unbelievable. Was
it not Elanga?
No, before Elanga came on.
Because I think he passed another one through to Elanga.
He was down the left, he passed in around the...
Yeah, I think it was Barnes.
It was an outstanding ball, it really was. And that was kind of Bruno all over. I thought we had a really good half, and he was only on for a half, but despite that, I'm going to give him an 8.
Alex?
I'm going to go for 9. I'm going to go really high because he came on. It was one of those days where, and again he did this when Tonali wasn't playing the other day. When Tonali's not in that midfield, it seems like Bruno, for whatever reason, has to step up and does because he knows he's not got someone else who's technically gifted to lean on. And by God, did he try and take that game by the scruff of the neck? He got the goal, and he was. I mean, I don't know if you've seen, some of people have seen the comments. He was disgusted the fact that we conceded an equaliser. He's considering that a loss essentially in his mentality.
He was devastated.
Yeah, he set standards yesterday, and he really wanted us to go and win that game, and he did everything he could. I'm going to go with a 9. I thought he was brilliant. Yeah,
that's what I've gone for. I've gone for a 9. I think he turned the game around. He just showed his passion and desire to drive the team forward yesterday. And the goal was a sensational finish. If you look in slow motion how he adjusts his body to get into position to put the ball where he did, it was a fantastic piece of skill. And he was captain fantastic yesterday. He came on, he grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck and said, right, we need better. We need better. And he was hurt at the end of that game yesterday in his interview. You could see it in his face. He was so hurt.
Especially with Romero scoring and the Argentinian Brazil thing. They don't like each of them two at all.
Well, and the fact that Romero copied his goal celebration, which I think was a bit of a shithousery. But
that's Argentina, though. They can't celebrate their own way. They can't be happy for themselves. They have to be happy that someone else has, had an issue. Good
evening to our subscribers in Argentina. Hope you're well tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Right, then it was the wingers, wasn't it? It was Gordon and Alanga came on.
66, it was Alanga and Gordon, yeah.
Okay, Alanga first, Billy, then Anthony Gordon.
Well, Alanga did more in 24 minutes, however long he was on for, than what Murphy did, which wasn't great because, I mean, Murphy did piss all, so...
Alanga didn't do a lot either, but...
No, he didn't do an awful lot, but he looks bright. He looks like he wants to go past play. He looks like he's got a bit of confidence, and I think he needs a run of games in the side to get him gelled in properly. Once we get that, I think it suits him having Tino behind him, by the way. Don't think it works with Trippier, because Trippier will put his foot on the ball, take time and pick out a pass, whereas Tino will hit the ball first time in the corners and give Alanga a chance to run onto it. So I'll give Alanga a 6 and a 6. I'll give him a 6. Okay. Gordon, on the other hand, I thought he was pretty fantastic when he came on.
He was.
Spurs made the mistake of going one-on-one with him, and Polo, I don't think, is the greatest defender in the world. I think he's a good right back going forward, but defensively, you've got to help him out, and Kudus didn't do that, and Gordon made hay of it. He just looked up for it. The pace looked there again. It was very integral in Bruno's goal, and scored a penalty. So I'm going to give Gordon a 7.
I thought after all that speed, I thought
7.5. I'll go 7.5.
I thought after all that bigging up, you were going to give him bigger than that. I have to say,
I can't give him the same as Bruno, because I thought Bruno was the catalyst was really getting the point, but I thought Gordon was very good at the same time. You know.
Yeah, Alex.
Alanga, I agree. He needs to run in the team. But I thought he did absolutely nothing at all. Like, if we're measuring on Jacob Murphy on the Murphy scale, he did a Jacob Murphy. I thought he did literally no shots, no crosses. He got 1 tackle. I don't think he did anything, unfortunately. But I still think he does need a run in the team, because he will be fine, but he needs to play. So I'll go with a 5. I'm just going to keep him right in the middle, because I don't think he did anything at all. Gordon did very, very committed to trying to take on his fullback consistently on the left side. Had the composure to score his penalty. Was involved in the build up to the first goal as well. Yeah, I'll go 7.5. He's come on as a sub and he's made a difference, so he deserves a good mark.
Okay. Billy, that was the biggest anticlimax since Bobby came out the shower in Dallas. I've gone 4 for Alanga. I agree with Alex. I think he needs to run in the side. He played very well at Everton. And, we're putting him on in that situation. I think he should have started the game personally. But hopefully he will against Burnley. And I've got
bearing in mind, if he came on the 66th minute, guys, we had 9 minutes of added time. So Alanga's he's had more than half an hour.
Yeah.
So that's over 30 minutes. He's got no crosses, no shots, no sort of key part. There was nothing in an offensive sense at all that he's registered, and 1 tackle. I don't think it's enough for how long he was on the pitch.
Yeah, I've gone 8 for Gordon. I thought he was fantastic when he came on. I've hammered him this season, but I thought yesterday was a real bright spark. It looked like he was hungry to prove something, and that's what we need to see from him. That's what we need to see from Anthony Gordon. Getting the ball, taking the fullbacks on, getting crosses in. I thought he took the penalty superbly under pressure, by the way. It was a beautifully taken penalty, and hopefully that'll give him a spark, because he's had a lot of criticism saying, is his heart in it? Has his head been turned? It's up to Anthony Gordon to change our minds on that. And last night for me was a start. Now, I think it was Fabian Schär came on to go 5 at the back, but I'm not going to rate Fabian Schär. I didn't on Finalysis either. Right, Eddie Howe, Billy.
Tough one to mark. I thought the subs were good apart from the last one. I mean, I wanted him to solidify things, but not by changing the formation. I thought he kind of darkened the waters a little bit. And, as I said, people were leaving things to each other because there was an extra man in there, and I didn't think that worked. But I understood why he did it. I just don't think it was the way to do it. I thought, as you say, that Miley was playing really well and looked more solid. But team selection in the first place, I agreed with rotating the people that were rotated. I'm surprised they didn't bring Ramsey or Willock on. I'm surprised Joe Linton got a full game. I'll give him a 6.
Alex?
I'll go with the 6 as well. I think Barnes starting was a mistake. I think it was time, even though we really wanted Barnes to continue playing, based on the fixtures. You've got to rotate him at some point as an attacker. So I think it was time for Gordon to have started that match. And I think we predicted that when we did the lineups. The midfield was odd. The fact that he's had to go and make a halftime sub means it wasn't working and it wasn't right. I didn't like a lot of what Joe Linton did. Byrne obviously let him down. And then the weird substitutions at the end. I agree with you, Paul. I think we should have kept a bit more midfield umph to try and retain a bit more control, maybe not sit quite as deep. So, yeah, a 6. I think he gets a bit of credit, but...
I've gone 5. I think the decision not to take Joe Linton off was suicide, given how he was playing in that second half. I've just seen a good comment on saying he should have took Voltemade off instead of Miley if he was going to put Cher on. But
we could have took Voltemade off for a Willock or a Ramsey.
Yeah.
Fiddled about a little bit, and then
I don't think we needed to make that change to go 5 at the back. I thought that it was the wrong signal sent out that we were just going to sit back, and we don't do well when we sit back. So there was a few decisions that I was very puzzled with, but 5 for me. Must do better, I guess. But there you go. That is the player ratings. Now there's a couple of super chats just before we look at the man of the match. Paul. We got one from Toon Steel. Miley belongs in the midfield. Go forward, and Ramsey needs to bloody play. And Brian says, really good commentary yesterday. Much better than the Dutch shite I get on Viaplay. Thanks from the Geordie in the Netherlands. Well, thank you very much, Brian. Much appreciated. Right, viewers, man of the match. Who do you reckon, guys?
It's got to be Bruno.
I would think Bruno.
It is incredibly close. There's 1% in it.
Yeah, okay, a lot of people have voted for Miley, probably.
I don't think we've ever had this close before. 1% in it. It is Bruno who has won man of the match with 41% of the votes. In second, Lewis Hall with 40% of the votes. Miley with 13% and Tino with 6%. So a very, very close man of the match. But I guess when there's not really a standout player when you get a man of the match poll as close as that, because there's all sorts of different opinions going on there. But that is it for the match review. Thank you very much, folks, for tuning in and joining us tonight. I really do appreciate it. If you've enjoyed the show, please give it a like. And, of course, if you're new and you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. Help us to continue growing and come and be part of an incredible community. All we ask for is that you hit that notification bell so you never miss any uploads or live shows on the channel. Of course, if you're on social media and you're on Facebook, we do have a Facebook group on there. Over 5,000 members on that Facebook group now. So if you're on there, look for the Toon Review, answer a couple of questions, and we'll get you in. And also, don't forget the toonreview.com for all your channel merchandise in the build-up to Christmas. Thank you for your super chats and your memberships. Mods, incredible again. And thank you to Billy and Alex, of course. And a big thank you to you guys. We will be back very soon. But as for now, enjoy the rest of your night, folks. And see you soon. Good night.
How are the lads and lasses?
Come back and check out the breeze.